Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Last weekend, Top Gun Maverick came out, and I got a chance to see the movie on Monday, and I didn't review it, so today I'm gonna review Top Gun Maverick. Before I tell you guys what I thought about Top Gun Maverick, let me know down in the comments, what did you think about Top Gun Maverick if you have seen it, and what were your expectations going into the movie? And were you someone that grew up with the original Top Gun? Were you someone that watched the Top Gun movie recently? Or were you someone that just kind of watched it in preparation for this movie? I would love to know your thoughts. With that said, I'm going to get started talking about what I thought about Top Gun and my expectations for the movie. And going into the movie, I wasn't expecting a lot. I wasn't expecting this to be one of my favorite movies of the year. I wanted it to be good. I knew I was going to have fun, but that's pretty much it. It was one of my most anticipated movies, but it's not because I thought it was going to be one of the best of the year. I just wanted to have fun watching this movie in the theater with a bunch of great dog fighting or airplane fighting sequences. That's really what I was looking for. I wasn't really interested in expecting this to become one of my favorite movies or anything. Now, the original Top Gun is a movie I've seen before. I didn't really remember it though, so I watched it before watching this movie just to prep for it, like a couple days before I saw the movie itself. And I thought the original Top Gun, I thought it was alright. It's not a great movie. I had a good time watching it, and I think it's a solid movie with some good things in it. But it's not one that I would consider iconic or a classic like a lot of other people do. I know it's a lot of people's favorite movies, and I know a lot of people think it's overrated too. I'm probably in that overrated crowd, but I like it more than some people do. I think it's a really good movie. I just don't think it's like one of my favorite movies. I don't think it's iconic or a classic or anything like that. With that being said, I went into this movie hoping it would be good, but the reviews for the movie were excellent. So that's one of the reasons I was like, okay, maybe this might actually be a really solid movie. Unlike the first one was, it might actually be like a great movie, but also be really entertaining. So going into the movie, I had just normal expectations, but with the reviews and stuff, those were elevated a little bit. And I watched the movie, and I have to say, this is probably like in my top 3 of the year right now. I really, really loved this movie. I think it's a great sequel to the first Top Gun. And again, I'm not a big fan of the first Top Gun, but I think this movie, in a lot of ways, it followed up the story really well. And it also, I think, made the first movie better in its own right. That's something that a sequel should always do, in my opinion. Like, whenever you come out with a sequel, the sequel in some way, shape, or form should improve the original, and I think this movie really, really did that. I thought that the movie also had a really good story because you have Maverick, who's like much older now than he is in the first movie, and he's a lot more mature, and he's kind of the teacher in this case because he's teaching a bunch of students who are also really good pilots on how to fly a mission. And that's really interesting to me because in the first movie, he was the student and he was the rebel and he wasn't listening to everyone else. But here, he's the teacher and he's trying to make everyone else listen to him. So I thought that was a really nice change of pace and kind of different from the first movie. But the whole story, just the way it sets up, because you have Miles Teller's character, who is Goose's son, and his name's Rooster. And I thought that their relationship was really, really good. And it's one of the most emotional aspects of the movie. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But I really liked the way that was executed. And even the way the movie was structured was really good. The first act, second act, third act, all of them were really strong. And it just gets better as it goes along. I really liked the first act. The second act was great. And the third act just pays off so well. And I think it's pretty easily the best part of the movie because it has great action, but also a lot of great emotional payoff. I thought that the characters in this movie were a lot better than in the first movie because the first movie, although you have memorable characters that you can remember, they're not given any character development or anything like that. But in this movie, everyone gets character development. Even the side characters that you don't really remember, you still care about them. You don't want any of them to die. And I think because of that, this movie was a lot more intense than the first movie was because we actually got character development for everyone. And we saw how each of the characters behaved and how they grow as characters. I also think just watching Tom Cruise, or I guess Pete Mitchell or Maverick, I also really liked watching him train all the students. I thought that was really, really fun, and especially the first time it happens. Because you have all these pilots that think that they're the best of the best, and then you have Maverick that's just like even better. I thought that was just really fun. In all the training sequences, it was really, really cool. Now, there's a whole subplot of the movie with a love story with Jennifer Connelly, and I think the movie could have done without that. I didn't think that was necessary, but I get what they were going for. It's not a Top Gun movie without something like that, and I get what they were going for. I just feel like it kind of sometimes took away from the main story about, our main mission and stuff. But still, for the most part, it worked. I don't think it like took me out of the movie. I just think if it was cut out, it would make the movie a little bit better because it would be more focused on the main mission. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of emotion with Miles Teller and Tom Cruise's characters, Maverick and Rooster, and their characters, their character development, and the way their relationship is developed throughout the whole movie is really, really good. And there's a lot of tension between them as well, and it pays off so well in the third act. And I just think they did the movie, just the direction, the story, all of that, just did a great job. And Tom Cruise and Miles Teller's performances too are really, really great. They bring a lot of emotion to the characters, and especially Tom Cruise. He just does so much to make Maverick a compelling character that you can root for. And throughout the entire movie, I think he just gave a phenomenal performance, and so did Miles Teller. This is also a movie that made me really, really happy. I thought just from beginning to end, I had a really big smile on my face, and I just really enjoyed watching this movie in the theater because of the kind of movie it was. I also really loved the action in the movie. I thought it was great, and especially as you go in the third act, there's some of the best action I've seen in a very long time. Now, everything that they did in this movie is practical. Like all the plane sequences, all the dogfighting sequences, they're all real. Tom Cruise and the rest of the cast actually learned how to fly these things, and they actually did that. And I'm not sure if all the cast did. They probably had a couple of stunt doubles and stuff, but all of it was practical. There was like pretty much no CGI, and I thought that was really crazy that they actually flew all these planes and actually did dogfighting and all this kind of things to make this movie. I think that's just incredible. And the fact that Tom Cruise is trying to make everything in his movies practical, I really respect that. And I think Tom Cruise is doing a really great job with all of his movies. And I really love the way the action was in this movie, because at the beginning it's great, but as you go into the third act, it just pays off so well. It's really emotional, but the action itself adds to everything, and it feels really, really grand scale. And I have to say, I'd say this is the best third act I've seen since Avengers Endgame. The third act of Avengers Endgame is obviously awesome, but since then, I don't think I've seen a final battle in a movie that's this good. Yes, I do include Spider-Man No Way Home in that. I know seeing all three of the Spider-Men are great, but as far as just pure action goes, the final battle in this movie was amazing. I cannot believe how good it was. And yeah, since Avengers Endgame, I'd say this is the best final battle we have gotten. So yeah, like I said, this movie made me really, really happy. The entire time I was watching this, I was just filled with joy. I had a huge smile on my face. And the theater experience was also great. Everyone was just like sobbing in the theater sometimes because the movie was very emotional, and it pays off really well. So there were people that were crying in the theater, there were people laughing whenever there were jokes and stuff. And when the movie ended, this is unusual in my theater, but like half the audience actually started clapping and burst into applause, and that doesn't usually happen in the theater that I go to. So I thought it was pretty cool that for this movie it happened. It really does deserve it. I think it's a great movie, and it's definitely one of the best of the year so far. And like I said, just from beginning to end, the movie just made me really happy. I've never felt this happy and just refreshed in a movie theater in a very long time. So yeah, this movie just made me really happy, and this whole movie was just fun, entertaining, engaging. It had emotional stuff, but it was just it just made me completely happy. I haven't seen a movie like that in a very long time. So I absolutely loved this movie, and I cannot recommend it enough. With all that being said, I'm going to give Top Gun Maverick an A. On an entertainment scale, it's a 9.7 out of 10. I really love this movie. Probably my second or third favorite movie of the year. I absolutely loved it. I cannot believe how much I liked it. And I definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it yet. And if you haven't seen the first Top Gun, watch it. And even if you don't like that movie that much, definitely go check this movie out, because it is absolutely amazing. And a lot of people that don't love the first Top Gun are also loving this movie. So I definitely recommend this movie to anyone that just loves movies, because it's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of Top Gun Maverick. If you enjoyed my review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.